7 things the plumbers don't want you to know about a plain box of baking soda. There is a box of it sitting in your cupboard right now, the very same one you bake your bread with, that the plumbing companies would just as soon you forgot all about. It costs under $1, and it does the better part of what a man with a wrench charges you $150 to come out and do. My name is Elsie Yoder. I am a plain Amish grandmother, and I was raised in a community where you do not spend good money on a thing you can fix with your own 2 hands. My own grandmother used to say the good Lord gave us a head so we would not go running to a man over every little thing, and in all my years of keeping a house, I have found her right about that more times than I can count. So let me show you what a plain box of soda can really do. We will start with the one the plumbers like the very least. Now before I do, let me say one thing quick, so it is said and I am not stopping in the middle later. For the folks who want all of it, every method I have worked out in a long life of keeping a home for so much less than the English pay, my husband and I have gathered it into one place, in the Amish Home Savings Guide, over at elsieyoderamish.com. The link is below this video. It is there if you want it, but you do not need a bit of it for the 7 things I am about to show you. So, let us begin. The first thing, and the one they like least of all, is this. A plain box of baking soda will keep every drain in your house running clear, week in and week out, so that the slow clog that brings the plumber to your door never gets the chance to form at all. And here is the thing that almost nobody stops to think about. A drain does not clog all at once, in a single day. It clogs a little at a time, a thin coat of grease and soap and hair laid down night after night, narrowing the pipe the way frost narrows a window pane in January, until one morning the water will not go down, and you tell yourself the trouble came out of nowhere. It did not come out of nowhere. It was 3 weeks, 4 weeks, in the quiet making. So once a week of an evening when the supper dishes are done, you tip a good heaping spoonful or 2 of soda down each drain in the house, and then you pour a kettle of near-boiling water down slow behind it. The soda loosens whatever has begun to cling to the walls of the pipe, and the hot water carries it off and away before it can ever build into a clog. Do that faithful, and the plumber simply never gets his telephone call. Hold this first one in your mind. Now, for every other thing I tell you tonight grows straight up out of it. The second thing is grease, and grease, let me tell you, is the hidden hand behind the most of all kitchen clogs there ever were. When you pour the warm fat off the frying pan down the drain, it runs down easy and quick, and you think no more about it. But down in the cool dark of the pipe, that grease does just exactly what bacon fat does in a pan left out on the counter overnight. It hardens, it turns to a pale, waxy crust, and it grabs hold of every crumb and every coffee ground and every bit of egg that comes washing down behind it, and it builds and it builds. Baking soda cuts grease. It always has, since long before any of us were born. A spoonful chased down with hot water, run faithful every week, keeps the fat from ever setting up hard in the bend of the pipe where the trouble always starts, and a drain already gone slow and sluggish with grease will soften and let go and run free again, given soda and a kettle of hot water a few evenings running. The third thing is the smell, and you know the very one I mean. That sour, low, creeping smell that rises up out of the kitchen drain of a warm evening, the one that no amount of scrubbing the sink itself will ever cure, because the trouble is not in the sink at all. It is down in the dark below it, old food and grease gone to rot where your hand can never reach. The plumber and the grocery store both will gladly sell you a bottle to pour down for it. You do not need their bottle. A good half cup of plain soda down the drain, left to sit a full hour if you can spare it, and then chased down with hot water. The soda does not lay a perfume over the smell the way the store bottle does, to fool you for a day or two. It swallows the smell whole, at the root, for soda has a way of taking the sourness clean out of a thing. Do it of an evening, and you will wake to a sweet, clean-smelling kitchen. The fourth thing is for the drain that is already half stopped, the one where the water stands and pools round your ankles in the shower, or creeps away from the sink so slow you could near time it with a clock. Here is the old way, and it costs you nothing but a few minutes. Pour a half cup of soda down the drain, and then pour a half cup of plain white vinegar down right after it, and you will hear it begin to foam and to fizz and to work. And that, you understand, is the two of them together scrubbing the inside of that pipe in every place no brush you own could ever reach. Now here is the small trick that most folks miss. Put the stopper in, or lay a wet dish rag over the mouth of the drain to hold all that good working down inside the pipe where you want it, instead of letting it fizz up and out into the sink and do you no good at all. Leave it a good quarter of an hour, then a full kettle of hot water down behind it to rinse the loosened mess away. For a great many a slow drain, that one humble treatment, done of an evening and again the next if it should need it, sets the whole thing to rights. The fifth thing is the toilet, and there is real money to be saved here. Real money. That hard ring at the waterline, the rust and the mineral stain that no scrubbing on God's green earth seems to lift, soda will soften it and help to carry it away. Shake a good cup of it all round the bowl, let it sit a good long while, an hour or more, and then take your brush to it, and you will see the difference plain as day. And a toilet gone sluggish and slow to flush, the kind you were just about to call a man over, is, half the time and more, nothing in the world but hard mineral built up where the water sits and runs. The soda helps loosen that crust so the works run clean and free again. Now I will be honest with you, the way I always am. It will not mend a part that is broken clean through, and I will never tell you that it will. But it will save you a great many a needless telephone call over a thing that only ever wanted a good cleaning. The sixth thing is for those of you out on a septic system, and you know who you are, and you know the cold dread of that particular bill, the harsh chemical drain cleaners they sell, the ones that foam up and burn and warn you right there on the label. Those are downright hard on a septic tank. They kill off the good, helpful living work down in the tank. The quiet, small life that does the whole job of breaking everything down as the good Lord intended it, and a tank with that life killed off in it is a tank headed straight for ruin, and a bill that would set you down hard in a chair. Baking soda does no such harm. It is gentle on the whole system, kindly to it even, for it keeps the works a touch less sour, which the tank favors. So everything I have told you here tonight, the weekly spoonful, the grease cutting, the slow drain cure, every last bit of it you may do with an easy mind on a septic system, where the store cleaners would only ever be buying you a far greater sorrow on down the road. And the seventh thing ties up all the other six, and it is less a trick than it is a habit. The very habit the women before us kept faithful, without ever once thinking it the least bit remarkable. Stop waiting on the clog. That is the whole of it, the very heart of the matter. The plumber's trade, the small part of it that a box of soda ever touches, is built up entire on folks who do nothing at all until the water will not go down, and then must pay dear, and pay quick, for the fixing of it. The woman who tips her spoonful of soda and her kettle of hot water down the drains once a week, faithful, of a quiet evening, never once arrives at that bad morning. The clog that never forms costs nothing at all to clear. That is not a thing any man alive can sell you. It is only a habit, kept faithful, the very same as the lamp was filled before ever it ran dry, and the wood was carried in before ever the cold came down. A little, done in good time, instead of a great deal, done too late. That, more than any one trick, is the whole secret of how the old houses always ran. Now let me be honest with you about the limits of all this, because I promised you that I would, and because I will not have you standing in water to your ankles laying the blame at my door. A box of soda is for keeping a drain clear and sweet, and for moving along the soft, ordinary troubles of grease and soap and food. It is not for everything under the sun. A drain wholly stopped and standing full, a pipe burst, or frozen, or grown clean through with tree roots, a leak working away under the floorboards, a thing gone truly wrong in the very bones of your plumbing, well, that is real work for a real tradesman, and there is no shame in this world in knowing when a job has grown bigger than your own two hands. The soda is for the 90 small troubles that never once needed a man at all. Knowing the difference between the two is its own kind of wisdom, and it does come with years. So here is what I would ask of you. Begin the weekly habit this very week, this very evening if you can manage it. A spoonful of soda, a kettle of hot water, down every drain in the house. And then come back down here and tell me, in the comments, what county do you live in, and how old is your house? I ask because the old houses carry the old narrow pipes, and they answer to this care a sight differently than the new ones do. And even now, in all my years, I am still learning which troubles go with which sort of a home. And tell me true, I read every one of them, and the things you write back to me are the very reason I keep on making these. The old ways only help if you actually use them, and if you would like the whole of them gathered together in one place, every method we use to keep a household for so much less than the English pay, it is all written down in the Amish Home Savings Guide over at elsieyoderamish.com, and the link is in the description just below. And if this serves you well, then do one kind thing for me in return. Teach it to one young person who does not yet know it. A granddaughter, a grandson, a young couple just moved into their first little house with the number of a plumber already stuck up on the icebox. Because that, and nothing grander than that, is how this knowledge stayed alive all these years. Not in any book, not from any tradesman, but in a kitchen, handed from one pair of hands down into the next. Next time, the good Lord willing, I will show you how we kept a drain from ever freezing in the deep of a Pennsylvania winter, with no heat tape and no bill, the way the old folks always did it. Until then, keep your soda by the sink, and God keep you all.